At that time it was a strange old world where you knew something was happening and everyone started talking about COVID tests and what was going to be needed and how it was going to be delivered.
You know, no one knew what they were really up against at that point.
We didn't really appreciate the scale at all that it was going to end up being. A couple of weeks of testing, we'll do a few tests and everyone will be out of the water. All we've got to do is monitor this thing and we're going to be fine.
There was definitely an element of uncertainty in the light of the information that was coming to bear. You know, all the tech vendors were kind of getting stuck in and having conversations and stepping forward and saying, you know, how can we help, how can we help? And so it was quite a confusing time. But I think in confusion, you know, some great things come out of that as well. So it was important to have those conversations and step up, I think.
I think we got a call on like a Friday night from Deloitte telling us about this system, which we kind of obviously knew was happening somewhere. We had a bunch of meetings over the weekend to understand exactly what they wanted and how quickly they wanted, which we had an idea of, but it was even quicker than we kind of imagined. Those appointment booking solutions are national facing systems where an individual can go onto a website, have an appointment booking, but it's not just about the individual going on themselves, it's also about all of the systems and the processes that sit behind it.
The country was in a critical position where before we even started the project, you knew what the pressures were, because every day you'd see, you know, the government announcing what the statistics were that weren't good.
When you eventually learn that it is a national sized programme, you're already too deep in anyway, so you're already kind of running with it. So, you know, that's when it does get serious.
So normally when we've worked with, especially government kind of based organisations, the procurement and the requirements gathering process is over an 18-month period. We squeeze that into a couple of days. And then within 3 weeks of that first meeting, we were live doing the first COVID tests.
For the subsequent vaccine rollout, that's probably when it really hit home, when we got asked to come back and do the vaccine testing project, and we kind of realised, okay, the scope of this, we knew how big COVID was, and we kind of realised that, okay, this is going to be for the whole country. And when the NHS threw some of the figures at us to say, yeah, you need to do this for 500,000 appointments an hour, then we realised, okay, we've never done anything this big before, so that's when it kind of hits home.
Obviously they had the daily press briefings that Boris Johnson used to do at whatever time it was. They used to announce like, oh, the next cohort can go and book, and then we'd immediately see on our system 5 minutes later, an enormous spike of everyone's just hit the system to try and get their vaccine. So to see that in reality was, something else, really.
When you see other countries in a similar position, they hit various problems along the way. Technically, with an IT solution, when you deliver a product of this size and this scale to this sort of project, you would expect to see certain problems along the way which we didn't hit, and that's what we're super proud of, is that kind of just continuous system availability throughout this project has been quite amazing for us. It's testament to the teams at ACF and Microsoft that we were able to do that and stay out of the news. It was the biggest thing for us, you know.
We had been working with NHS Digital for some time. So NHS Digital is the organisation that delivers key national services for the NHS in England. And the interesting thing about working with ACF was that they formed a really quick and key part of the COVID vaccination platform, and certainly the COVID registration piece as well. The second that we found out that that is what was happening, we just made sure to swarm on that and make sure that we could support ACF in the great work that they did.
Yeah, there's a sense of pride that, the solution you're delivering really is going to make a difference, because it's very different to, you can deliver an appointment booking system for a retailer to go and book a haircut, but to develop a system that is going to be delivering vaccines and is quite literally saving people's lives is completely different. It was pretty apparent during obviously the vaccination stage, the UK was leading the way, so to be in the world, so to be a part of that and delivering a solution that is quite literally groundbreaking, world-breaking, was, crazy.
I've got family all over the world, and when I look at kind of what they're still going through in terms of getting access and easy access to vaccinations and testing in some regards. I'm really pleased and proud that we live in the UK. It has contributed to people getting the protection that they need sooner, faster, and I just think that, you know, had this not been successful, it would have inevitably led to more people contracting COVID and not getting the care they needed sooner.
I don't think we'd be where we are now. You know, we're kind of going back to normal now. We are able to go everywhere, everyone's vaccinated. You know, lockdown is a fairly distant memory now, to be honest, to most people, I think. If we weren't able to deliver a vaccine system, or at least be the front-facing part of this, I think we could potentially still be in lockdown, or the economy nowhere near back to where it is at the moment.
Obviously I booked my vaccine through the system and then went and get it, and then you like realise the reality when you're queuing outside a system and you walk up and someone takes your number and your name, and that's our system that does that, and I booked it through our own system. So yeah, that really hit home when you went to get the first vaccine, that yeah man, there's a lot of people here and they've all basically been through our system one way or another, or using it.
As we went through that process where the country stopped for a moment and the government were announcing numbers, I think that just enhanced the feeling that that is where we are. We are here to help reduce that number in a small way, in the way that we did. And I think that's really given everyone the confidence to say, you know what, yeah, we can go to that next level. What we'd like to do is help the NHS get back onto its feet with the backlog that it's got. And I think everybody here now knows that we can do that.
The fact that you've got, you know, 40, 50 million people that have interacted with this platform one way or the other over the last 6 months, and the fact that it has worked and it's worked well and it hasn't fallen over, is testament really to what can happen in the future. So I think the sky's the limit. Let's dream big.
Talking earlier about what would I do different, and I think yeah, it's always easy to think of things that you could do different, but I genuinely believe that yeah, this near enough went as well as it could. There was small teething problems and minor problems here and there, but overall, yeah, it's a success.